Sorry to interrupt if you can hear me. I have no audio, so I don't know if online people can hear either.
Hello. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
That's better. Thank you.
Thanks for telling us. And the excused absence of General Manager Johnson, Director of Finance, Ann Roman, will be performing the role of Board Secretary. Would you please conduct the roll call and confirm a quorum?
President Doolittle.
Here.
President Short.
Here.
Director Charlesford.
Here.
Director Sloan.
Present.
And Director Fitt.
Here.
Quorum.
Board members, are there any changes requested to the agenda? I have some, actually. I have procedural, due process, transparency, and fairness objections to the agenda. These are: one, although the administrative code assigns supervision of agenda preparation to the general manager, customary governance practice for the past 7 months has been for the president and general manager to meet during agenda development. That customary process did not occur before the agenda was posted. Two, after a July 23rd request to the GM for review and input to the agenda with Finance Director Ann Roman in our GM's absence, I received a response from the general manager that I could not meet with Ann about the agenda, describing that as a, quote, separate meeting. Although the GM and I had never met on this agenda, I quote, she ended it by saying, I do not believe a separate meeting is necessary at this time. Included in the email was a table of agenda topics. Nowhere was there mention of the board reorganization or consideration of my censure. She then stated, keep in mind that the agenda is still being developed and may change before it is finalized and posted. Three, at the time of this exchange about the agenda, the GM already had received Vice President Short's email of July 21st with his request to place board reorganization and the censure of Stacy Doolittle on the agenda. Both the GM and executive admin received this request, I can only assume, because it was posted in the supplemental supporting documents of this meeting. And so that indicates to me at the time of our exchange about agenda review, the GM already had available knowledge, whether she knew it or not, of this August 5th agenda item requested by VP Short. Four, the agenda was released just 3 JBWD working days from today, with item 7A, reorganization of the board, and item 7B, censure included. There was no supplemental information provided with the agenda release for a review to provide a meaningful response for each agenda item. The supplemental information provided after my Public Record Act request was too meager and arrived too late for me to form a meaningful response. The public has also stated their concerns about these agenda items having no supporting materials. 5, this agenda design seems to suggest that I'm guilty by first replacement of the reorganization of the board and then the censure. This gives the impression that the outcome of these deliberations were pre-decided long before I tapped the gavel to start this meeting. Is it a coincidence that I never received a requested replacement badge identifying me as board president that I requested more than 2.5 weeks ago? As I've had to do this before, I know these items usually arrive in a matter of days. Again, I'm troubled about the appearance of outcomes decided ahead of time. 6, I believe the general manager should be here for such important deliberations and discussions, many of them having to do with her. So I request, due to these objections, a change to the agenda with items 7A and 7B to be continued due to agenda design, the lack of presidential agenda involvement, notice, due process, transparency, and fairness. Do I hear a motion?
Can I make a motion?
Well, we have, oh yeah, sure, you can make a motion.
You made that motion?
I didn't make the motion, so there's no motion in play. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll make a motion because this is already one of the biggest mistakes our district has made in the last 3.5 years I've been on this board. And it's already embarrassing. It's already a shameful situation to have to expose the district, the board and the district to this situation. My first motion would be to eliminate 7A and 7B in this agenda and instead have a closed session resolving this situation when the general manager is back in person to these chambers. That's my motion, is to have 7A and 7B eliminated.
Second that motion. Could we have a roll call? Yes, our council wishes to speak.
Only a caveat, not to interfere, but we would have to review the ability to go into a closed session depending on the nature of the subject. The subjects that are in 7A and 7B at the moment are not eligible for closed session. It's the only thing I wanted to mention.
I believe they could be addressed privately, without, a closed session. So does that mean we need to remove that from what he said from the motion?
You don't have to remove it, but I would have to, it could be subject to change based on Brown Act allowances.
I would ask, why are they not capable of being closed session?
So the Brown Act does allow closed session for employee items of that nature, but a censure is a board member is not an employee. It's a elected official. Elected officials specifically under the statute that allow closed session for employment items do not allow closed sessions for issues related to board members.
But that doesn't mean that this censure couldn't have been handled outside of an open meeting. We could have discussed it as a group.
God, no, you could not. It would have to be a noticed item for the board to meet and discuss.
Okay.
Okay, well, being that that would be wrong, according to our legal counsel, then I will go ahead and do the motion of continuing 7A and 7B till we have a general manager in these chambers to answer the questions and assertions that are going on.
I second. Roll call vote, please.
President Doolittle?
Yes.
Vice President Short?
No.
Director Charles Burton?
No.
Director Sloan?
No.
Director Fick?
Yes.
So, so then I just have my motion, which is I request, due to these 6 objections that I just stated above regarding transparency, agenda design, a lack of presidential agenda involvement, notice, due process, transparency and fairness, I make a motion to have these items continued to a later date. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call vote, please.
Vice President Short?
No.
Director Charles Burton?
No.
Director Fick?
Yes.
President Doolittle?
Yes.
Forget.
Yes, and Director Sloan?
No.
All right. Following that, I have another motion. I announce a proposed change to the order of business. The censure item 7B provides the factual basis, if any, for considering leadership changes, which are in 7A. It appears that the censure provides the factual basis, if any, for considering leadership changes. I believe those 2 items must be arranged in the agenda. I remind the board that we have approved such edits to agendas before. Is there a motion for this change?
I'll motion for 7B to be before 7A.
I'll second. Roll call vote, please.
We have a question.
Okay.
Can we have some discussion as to why it is in this order?
Council, are we allowed to discuss in the middle of a motion why something was ordered, or is that left up to another?
No, absolutely. Typically this motion is second. The board is free to discuss before you actually take the vote. Absolutely.
Mhm.
The reason the consideration of board reorganization and election of officers is first is because I wanted this to be a discussion amongst the board about some behavioral patterns I have seen from the president of the board.
In 7A.
In 7A, yes.
And that's also going to be in 7B.
7B is going to be just we're going to review the resolution.
Which also references my behavior. So I really don't understand that as an argument for not swapping them. Is there a motion for this change?
It's already been approved.
You have a motion in a second, so you're just looking for a vote.
Okay, roll call vote, sorry.
Director Sloan?
Well, that managed to confuse me.
To change the order to flip the 2.
No.
And Director Jarlsberg,
No,
Vice President Short,
No.
Director Fick,
Yes.
and President Figg.
Yes. So the motion fails. I was forgetting to say that earlier. All right, so moving on. Now is the time. So is there a motion to approve? We need to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
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 The agenda is approved with 3 ayes. Was it 4 ayes? 3 ayes and 2 nays?
Do we need to do a roll call?
No. Okay, we need to, okay. Oh, okay, so that was 4 ayes and 1 nay. So now is the designated time for public comment. You may comment on any district-related matter, whether appearing on the agenda or not. We welcome public comment. We will also be able to comment on specific agenda topics during our meeting. Please understand that due to the Brown Act, the board is prohibited from taking action on items not on the agenda. I would request that public comments remain non-accusatory, calm, with no personal attacks, please, and maintain civility and decorum. And if you are attending online and you would like to speak, please use the raise hand option in the Zoom toolbar to be recognized. First, I'll begin with, are there any comments here in the room? Please come to the lectern and state your name. Just hold on.
Are they aware that this is for stuff other than what is on the agenda?
No, what my understanding of what my script says is that you may comment on district-related matter, whether appearing on the agenda or not. I think it's like that for people that want to comment and then have to leave the meeting.
Okay.
Right, state your name.
Thank you. My name is Dawn Davis. Good evening, board members and neighbors. I'm here as a citizen who believes that the public's confidence in this board depends as much on the fairness of its process as it does on the decisions it makes. I'm not here to debate the merits of the proposed censure because I don't know all the facts. What concerns me is whether the process has been fair. An official censure of an elected director is a serious action. If a director is asked to defend themselves without first receiving clear notice of the allegations and a meaningful opportunity to review the supporting information, it raises questions about fairness and transparency, which I might also add are 2 of 3 of your values: integrity, transparency, and respect. Disagreement among board members is inevitable and often healthy. Asking difficult questions and holding one another accountable is part of public service. The public relies on its elected officials to ask difficult questions and seek accountability. We should be careful that the process of censure, whether at the local or county level, is never seen as discouraging those responsibilities. These differences should be addressed through a process that is open, respectful, and fair to everyone involved. For those reasons, I respectfully ask the request. Oh, well, we can forget that because you've already discussed it, but thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Next. Please announce your name.
Good evening, President Doolittle, members of the board. My name is Robert Griffith. I am not a citizen or resident here. I am actually Vice President of the Mission Springs Water District Board of Directors. I tell you that for context of my background and knowledge. However, I am speaking of my own volition and as a private citizen. I'm here to voice my opposition to both items 7A and 7B. Item 7A proposes a reorganization to remove President Stacy Doolittle from her position. There are no supporting documents for this item to allow the public to determine the reason for this. There is no reason or explanation as to why the board would consider reorganization and election midterm. What is even more disturbing is that the subsequent item is a censure of President Doolittle. Again, no reason or explanation is given. While state law does not mandate a formal evidentiary hearing, many board policies often dictate a special process, including giving the accused board member advance written notice of the specific allegations and providing the member a reasonable opportunity to review evidence and respond or present a defense during the public meeting. No specifics, again, have been provided. President Doolittle has not been advised of any evidence nor provided sufficient time or information to address the item. It's interesting that the agenda has the removal of President Doolittle first, prior to her censure. The draft censure resolution uses the term Director Stacy Doolittle. As this item follows the reorganization item, it shows that a decision to remove her has already been made. In fact, it is known that Vice President Short, Director Flown, and Director Jarlsberg will be voting to remove Stacy Doolittle from her position as president. This indicates that discussions on this item have already been made out of the view of the public, a clear violation of the Brown Act. Whether through a group meeting or a serial meeting, these board members and possibly the general manager have violated the Brown Act. Their yes vote on item 7A will be used as evidence that they have freely conspired outside of the public to voice their votes preemptively and violate state law. If a censure is needed, it would be for these 3 board members. The resolution refers to parts of your administrative code, a code that has not been formally updated since 2021, a code that does not list the maximum number of emails that can be sent, a code that ridiculously requires full board approval for a report to be requested from staff, something that can allow collusion between a manager and board members to hide unethical acts. An administrative code that was not written to allow full board oversight of the activities of the general manager, such as the current general manager who wanted to place her nephew in a high-paying position. Perhaps something the reorganized board would allow. An administrative code that handcuffs the board from proper oversight activities. President Doolittle is respected among members of the Association of California Water Agencies and California Special Districts Association, and obviously the community. I doubt that respect will be transferred to any new president, especially one who has conspired to remove her. Moving forward with this item does not serve the district's constituents. What it does do is serve the interests of those who are more interested in power and recognition than serving the community. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Allie Irwin, and in addition, I'm a customer here. And in addition to the letter that I sent to each of the directors, I just want to amplify what that gentleman said, because I cannot say anything better than that at this time.
It seems like somebody's getting railroaded around here. And I didn't hear about anything going on. It's in these. Oh.
Stacy, you are, what's your name?
Dan O'Dowd, Joshua Tree. I didn't hear about any of this except for a few days ago. And there's not enough information getting around to people. And it feels like you're getting railroaded. I don't like that happening to you.
Next speaker. There is a next speaker. Hello, Deb Bollinger. I'll just say your name for you.
Good afternoon, President Doolittle and board. Yeah, my name is Deborah Bollinger. I've been a ratepayer for 27 years. I've also worked for the district doing consulting work for over a decade. So I've known a lot of boards and a lot of general managers. And we have had some really terrible board directors over the years. Directors who yelled and threatened other board members, forcing them to resign in fear of for their careers and their personal safety. And I know Anne and Kathleen, you'll remember Michael Lewis. We can forget him. We had to call the sheriff in to attend board meetings because of him. And as I recall, he was never even censured, despite all that he did. So it is astounding to me to see a censure resolution for our board president on today's agenda. President Doolittle has been one of the hardest working directors I have known in all of my time here. She is a trusted and respected member of our community, and in my opinion, a huge asset to the district. There was no warning. There's no rationale, no due process for Director Doolittle or transparency for the community. This is not good governance. I hope the entire board continues to probe and questions the actions of this district and its administrators, as Director Doolittle has. And as far as I'm concerned, that's what you're all in those seats for. I'm very disappointed that you have voted to approve these two motions on the agenda. I think we really need a reset. Thank you.
Any other speakers in the room? Oh, please.
Hi, my name's Crystal Weisling. I guess I should disclose that I'm on the Citizens. Oops. Thank you. I was going to say Action Committee. Okay, it's a CAC, whatever it's called. Anyway, I already submitted something in writing that is longer than this, but Deb used the word disappointed. That's how I feel about what has happened. And just like Deb said, I think you need a reset. I think everyone owes Stacy an apology. Whoever is involved in this, I think this was handled very poorly. And you should remember that your reputation is at stake because you have made people question Stacy. And that really upsets me. And I think that's just not okay. So I don't need to say anything else because the rest of it I sent by email. But anyway, I hope it's a learning experience for everyone and you can put this behind you and move forward.
Next speaker, we have another one here. I see a man from the back. State your name, please.
Good evening. A little disclosure, I consider myself a personal friend of President Doolittle, and I think she's the very definition of a public servant and one who's unafraid to get to the bottom of things that are challenging in our district, including the sewer issue. And I agree with Director Fick that this whole thing is one of the most shameful and embarrassing things I have ever encountered. And those of you, I want to know who's behind it, who voted for it, and if that includes this general manager that seems to be nowhere in sight. I'd like to know that too. I think I'm from District 4. I believe that's yours, no? Okay. Or the Highlands, anyway. Thank you so much.
Thank
Your name, sir? Sir, oh, I'm sorry, Carl Weimer.
Next speaker.
Good evening, President Doolittle, Board. My name is Erin Gatlin. I live in Yucca Valley. I'm here this evening for multiple reasons. While I live in Yucca Valley, decisions made by the Water District have an impact on Yucca Valley. Your actions as a board also influence how other boards act. So far, it's pretty disappointing. I also serve as with President Doolittle on the board of the Morongo Basin Conservation Association. And I'm here to express my significant concerns about agenda items 7A and 7B. I've submitted extensive comments on them. These are more abbreviated. I agree with all of the comments that have been expressed so far. Thank you, sir, for yours. Particularly good. And then highlighting the values that are, I believe, are being violated. This board's values that are being violated by this action. I'm also very deeply concerned about the way conflict is being addressed and more accurately not addressed by the board in the district. For some context, for 20 years of my federal career, I was a certified mediator specializing in resolution of workplace disputes. In addition, I conducted training for supervisors and employees on effective collaborative decision-making and conflict resolution. Those were collateral duties, which I did in addition to all my regular jobs. From that experience, I can say that the vast majority of workplace disputes are related to communication. I'm going to assume that communication is at least among the issues here based on the proposal provided by the ad hoc committee and discussed during the July 15th board meeting. And I have to assume that because there's been no other information provided. Facilitated discussion can be an effective way to address communication challenges and develop a shared understanding of how to effectively communicate, as well as shared accountability going forward. And by shared, I do mean by everyone at JBWD. Everyone is accountable, and there's no passengers here. It also provides an excellent foundation to work from and set of tools to address conflicts when they occur in the future. It is important to understand, as has been noted, that conflict exists and is not necessarily negative. Managed effectively, conflict can encourage more robust decision-making and spur creativity. From this perspective, I was originally pleased by the ad hoc committee's proposal for a professionally facilitated board governance and leadership alignment retreat. Unfortunately, that changed very quickly. After I looked at the proposal, I was not surprised that the retreat was tabled with no further action. I have a number of concerns. I will highlight 2 here. The recommended approach to the retreat, option 2, highlights communication between the board president and general manager as needing advisory support. This is a little awkward given that no stakeholder interviews have occurred. And I second the feeling that has been expressed already that there has been discussions in advance and among board members, potentially with the general manager, that could be in violation of the Brown Act. And related to this, that did not include President Doolittle. The Joshua Basin Water District is a public agency. It's very shocking to me that the ad hoc committee proposed using a single vendor. This seems counter to the board's stated value to demonstrate fiscal responsibility. Just because this vendor was recommended by the board's lawyer does not mean they provide the best value for the district. In my professional life, I would have expected at least 3 to evaluate, which would have, and if you'd had 3 of them, you could have addressed a variety of the questions that were posed to you in the July 17th by 15th meeting, like cost and can we do it other ways? You didn't have anything else to evaluate, so there was no way to address those questions. Rather than addressing the questions, the nuclear option appears to be on this evening's agenda. If adopted, the likelihood of being able to actually address any current communication challenges experienced by the board and the district would be less than 0, and there would be no foundation for effective communication going forward, nor would there be any shared accountability. There are no linked documents in the agenda to these 2 items, so the community has no background on what may have prompted these 2 proposed actions. This is outrageous coming from a public entity, especially given the nature of the agenda items. If the items are to be discussed publicly, information must be provided in the agenda packet. More outrageous still, it is my understanding that President Doolittle is similarly in the dark about the issues that were raised against her in this meeting. So the nuclear option and no due process. This reads like public shaming with no opportunity for President Doolittle to prepare and respond appropriately. I urge the board to reject items 7A and 7B and to reconsider if you pre-decided that that's what you're going to do. It would only serve to undermine the integrity of this board and the district.
I believe that Director Jarlsberg has a clarifying question.
Well, actually, a comment. We did have 2 recommendations for the ad hoc board retreat that was proposed.
From the same vendor.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, from the same vendor. There's 2 proposals from the same vendor. I read the proposal. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there were different proposals and different
proposals.
Different costs.
3 vendors.
Voted on separately.
3 vendors would have been much more appropriate.
Well, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Miriam Seeger. I've been a business person here with commercial and residential properties, real estate, some development for 20 years. So I've seen a lot of boards, I've seen a lot of GMs, and I've really enjoyed a great relationship with all of them and the staff here. And I have to say, all those years collectively, during Stacy's tenure, there's been more engagement with the community about water issues than with all of those other collective contacts. So that's something that's really valuable because we don't necessarily understand what it is that the board is doing and what is going on with water and what's more important when you live in the desert than water. If you don't, if you think you're fixing your car engine is the most important thing today, down the road, it's going to be water. So that forward thinking element is, I think, what the thing that Stacy brings to the picture. Thank you.
All right, next speaker, I see someone coming from the back.
Hi, Janet Johnston. I'm a resident in Joshua Tree, and Stacy Doolittle is my director for my area. I've got kids, and I worry basically every time we drink water, is this safe? And I know that Stacy in particular is doing a lot of work, going to meetings and really digging into the issues to make sure our water's safe. I'm sure others are doing that as well, but I do trust that she is putting that work in so I can trust the water for myself and for my children for years to come. So I just feel like this wasn't handled well. You know, we're all kind of in the dark about what's going on. And I think that's the main issue. So there is a trust issue that has been addressed with this. All right, thank you.
Okay, another speaker.
Hi, my name's Patricia Leary. I'm in the 3rd Division. And I wrote a letter basically expressing what everybody's expressing here. But I follow national politics for the most part. And I'm really getting the strong feeling that there's something else going on here. It's going to be interesting as this develops. But I feel like there's some kind of bribery going on, or somebody from the county doesn't like certain things that are being done or said and wants to change it to a more corporate friendly environment here in Joshua Tree. And it's really making me nervous. And that's the additional thing that I wanted to say as I stand here. Thank you.
My name is Bonnie Hawthorne. My comments are sort of more general, which is this is no way to run a murder mystery, guys. You're getting all of us making comments, and I see on your faces that it's all just going right over your heads because you've got a bomb that you're ready to drop on us when we get to item number 7. I feel like this was done poorly and at a minimum out of order. Like we should have heard your evidence. Your evidence should have been presented before we all made comments. So maybe we can cut to that particular chase. Thank you.
Are there any more public comments in the room? Oh, please come to.
My name is Thomas Fjellstam. I'm also a member of the Joshua Basin Water District Citizen Advisory Council. I've known Stacy for over 16 years. In that time of friendship and professional interaction, I've known her to be fair-minded, a good listener, reasonable, intelligent, and very professional. I understand she's worked in the corporate world and upper management and has experience in professional behavior to be reflective of that type of environment. She's a go-getter and works hard to get things done. She is doing an outstanding job representing the community of Joshua Tree as president of the Joshua Basin District Board. She is looking into concerns that our constituents have and taking proactive action for our district. This sort of governance should be rewarded, not penalized. I've read this resolution. As I'm reading this resolution, it looks like there's a lot of language in there that will effectively muzzle Stacy from doing her job and questioning the general manager. And this deeply concerns me. She will not be able to serve her constituents. I'm requesting that this resolution get dismissed as overreaching and settled in a more fitting and professional manner. My preference is Stacy remain president of the board to serve out her term. I would suggest that a preliminary step would be as having a meeting of the board and executive director with a conflict resolution specialist to work out an amicable solution in a fiscally responsible manner, meaning it's reasonably priced for our constituents. The Standing Committee on Water and Growth and Stacy has formed should not be canceled as well. Thank you very much.
All right, is there anyone else in the room that has any comment? Or, oh yes, please come up here, and folks online will be getting to you. Thank you for waiting, your patience. Hello, please state your name.
I'm Debbie Troncoli, and I ran against Stacy for the position. And I'm really curious why there was a no vote. We don't know anything that happened. Nothing's been communicated. I don't understand it. Why you voted no. I think I've even told Stacy I'm glad she was elected instead of me.
Especially now.
I know. I know. I can't imagine working like this. So I wish you the best, and I hope you will reconsider what you voted on today. Thanks.
All right, are there any more comments from the room? All right, looks like there are not any more public comments, so I'm going to, do you want to tell me, Lisa, who's first?
Kim.
All right, Kim Stringfellow. You should be allowed to talk now. We're not, there you go.
Okay, you can hear me.
Yes.
Hello, my name is Kim Stringfellow. I am a 16-year resident, homeowner, ratepayer, and stakeholder of Joshua Basin Water District. And just listening to what is happening today is absolutely appalling as a stakeholder. It is not clear why Stacy Doolittle is being censored. It doesn't seem like any evidence has been put forth. It is completely opaque. And I sense this has to do with the fact that she wrote an op-ed recently in a local paper that was critical of the county. I'd like to kind of backtrack. A woman said earlier, is there something going on with the board in the county we don't know of? You know, you're all voted positions here. And I'm hoping that there's journalists in the audience or watching this that are going to get the word out of what is happening here, because you should be embarrassed to be in these positions to censor one of your colleagues. You know, it's just really an ugly situation. Thank you.
Next up online is Sarah Lee.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Sarah Lee, and I am a ratepayer in Director Short's district. I was going to request a continuance, but clearly the three dudes and one gal, the two, whatever, they have decided they don't want the public to get information beforehand. So that's kind of pissed me off. I was, civil till then, because so I've changed my tack. I'm now requesting Director Short please withdraw his motion. I spoke with him, and I will say I am on friendly terms with him. So I spoke with him this weekend, and I'm sorry if I have to reveal this. And I just wanted to ask what's going on. He basically, and we had spoke at length, he lied to me and said he knew nothing about this. I don't know. Stacey's so great and blah, blah, blah. What the fuck? I mean, I wasn't going to say any of this, but he flat out lied to me. And that's not right for your elected. I mean, I guess they all lie, but that really, it wasn't until days later when everything blew out in his face that his wife and I spoke, and she said, oh, he's so, I told him he shouldn't lie. And she told me that he's going to be president and that Tom Flowen doesn't want it, nor neither does Jane. And now hearing all this stuff, that's the only reason I'm saying is because this does not sound right. I mean, I thought you guys would at least do the continuance. That's all. This is so effed up. And I'm sorry that I've, betrayed your confidence, Tom, but you're doing something very wrong. And I'm not even talking about the issues. And I was going to start with I'd like to mention I've worked on various environmental concerns with President Doolittle over the years, including fighting the Cadiz project from draining the desert aquifers. She was very helpful in getting me data so I could create a statewide action network to successfully pass state laws to protect the desert. She wanted no credit, no ego. She just helped with damn important, smart information. She's a forward thinker and very complex, and I don't know how much time I have, so I'm just going to say I'd rather have a bossy Betty Demando Pants elected official who's trying to get to the bottom of the sewer system. And maybe we slap her and say, come on, Stacey, be a little nicer. And my last request is, if President Doolittle's requests are too much, might we take $100,000 from the GM position and hire an assistant? The GM, Sarah Johnson, receives $390,000 compensation package in 2025 for a basically 9-to-5 job. If President's requests are too much, might I suggest we take $100,000 of that salary and hire someone who can help? 4 years ago, this GM was working in the admin finance department. I am all for training up our employees, but $390,000, where do I get to sign up for that job? If I may paraphrase the saying, look at the forest, not the trees, to look at the desert, not the yuccas, let's all come together and focus on the bigger issues, such as the county's mysterious septic to sewer plan over large swaths of undeveloped land in Joshua Tree, which President Doolittle's dogged attempts to get to the bottom of this are just rad. I believe all the board members wanted to protect Joshua Tree. Also dealing with the chromium. Let's get to the really important issues. And I don't want to go back to an amiable yes man to the district and county leader. Thank you.
I believe. Second, I believe that you have a clarifying question or
I
public
have
comment?
a question of our legal counsel.
Okay.
Considering all the conversation, I think it should have waited until we were able to talk about the agenda items. We really are getting into where the agenda items were going to be discussed. And I think we're just getting a little deep into off topics. Exactly.
We just write on
Agenda items. Anyway, I'm asking Jeff, our legal counsel, if it's possible.
Well, this is the
agenda.
time for public comment. So you when you get to the agenda items, you'll have that discussion as the board and presentation. You're just on the public comment component of the meeting.
Well, we're going to have to comment on what they've been commenting on, and we're not supposed to be commenting on this part of the agenda, the public comment period. So I'm a little confused.
Well, if I could help out, and this was a script that I received from the former president, and what we say is now is the time, designated time for public comment. You may comment on any district-related matter, whether appearing on the agenda or not.
No, that's correct, and that is what the agenda reads. The board president does have discretion to push comments onto a specific item, but that would the time on the agenda for comments is now.
All right, so then moving on to our next online comment, please.
Jennifer Rendon.
Hello, can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Jennifer Rendon. I live in this district of Joshua Tree. Just to have full disclosure, Thomas Short is my husband. I was the one that talked to Sarah Lee on the phone, and she did mischaracterize much of what we talked about, and I've been a bit disappointed in that. So just to clear the record, Thomas didn't tell her the full thing because he wasn't ready to make that available as knowledge, because he was still trying to figure out what to do, and it just wasn't clear. It was just too early. And in terms of her saying that I told him not to lie, that is not true. I'd had no discussion with Thomas about this before she talked to Thomas. And further, I didn't say that he wanted to be president. In fact, I believe he doesn't want to be, but neither here nor there. I just want to clear the record that Sarah Lee was not absolute accurate in her statement to you.
Moving on to the next online hand raised person.
Melissa Spur.
Hi, I'm Melissa Spur, a 22-year resident of Joshua Tree and a ratepayer. And I agree with everything that has been said with everyone who has spoken here, with the exception of Jennifer Rendon. But I agree with those who are concerned about a violation of the Brown Act. It struck me that the three directors who voted not to remove items 7A and 7B from the agenda seem to have their minds made up already. This draft of a proposal that was presented as part of the agenda packet, it seems like it's been considered by somebody, and it seems like those three directors are ready to present something that Stacy Doolittle, Director Doolittle, was not privy to. It's my understanding that she knew nothing about this and was mystified by these items on the agenda. And that reflects a lack of transparency, but also if these three directors, if they and possibly the general manager have been discussing this, it seems to me that would be a violation of the Brown Act. And I want to say that Stacy has done so much for our community, even before she was elected to the Water District. And I was delighted when she was elected. And I think, as Miriam Seeger says, she has really enhanced engagement in water issues. I've learned from her things that I didn't know, I hadn't even thought about with regards to the Water District and water issues in the desert. And I agree with Sarah Lee that this should just be removed from, it should be withdrawn from the agenda. It's ridiculous, and as others have said, it's shameful. Thank you.
Right. Before we move on, Vice President Short has some remarks.
Okay, so I want to clear the air on all of this. I am the one that submitted this claim. I am the one that submitted the censure. I did this on my own volition without the county. And it's become clear to me now that I messed this process up. I've never censured anybody. So I am polling items A and B. One more thing.
Can he
I
do
have
that?
one more thing.
Can he do that, council?
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Individual, no, the board is the only one that can take action on the agenda.
Goes to Sarah Lee. I am terribly sorry if I misled you. Like I said, I've never done this. I'm stressed. I'm out of my mind. I know it's not funny. I'm stressed. Come on.
Who's laughing?
No, you need to be quiet. Okay, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry. I'll explain later, but just.
I still believe that the agenda items have merit, but it's become clear that this is not what we're supposed to do. And I take full responsibility for that.
Director Jarlsberg?
So whether he can pull it by himself.
We make a motion.
We're still in public comments.
So, but I was thinking of ending public comment because it seems like, well, if there are others that feel really strongly online, that they have something to say that hasn't already been said, or there's someone in the room who has some, okay, if you want to make your public comment real quick.
I need to get.
Yeah, please. But then I do feel like that Vice President Short has been very vulnerable and sharing his position, and I don't want to continue to draw out this process. So
just to address President Doolittle's question, there can always be a motion to reconsider based on a prior action. It can only be brought by somebody who voted in the majority of that prior decision, but there can be a motion to reconsider.
Okay, sorry, Council Hoskinson, tell me, what do you mean? So you're saying that since I didn't vote for it, I could make a motion to reconsider, or are you saying the opposite?
No, the opposite. It would be someone who voted. So it relative to the approval of the agenda. And I guess we're going back to the rejections of the motions to pull items. Only someone who voted no on that could, because that was the majority vote on that motion, could motion to reconsider. Only someone who voted in the majority of a prior action can ask that to be brought back up. It can be seconded by anyone and voted on by the entire board. But only someone who voted in the majority can actually bring the motion to reconsider.
Director Jarlsberg?
I have another question. Can we comment on the comments as a board member?
No, you cannot. The time to comment would be during the agenda items.
Exactly. And there's still a lot of information that's not out there.
So we have another public comment, and then I understand that we will return to, or we will entertain a motion to something about the agenda and from a person who was a no voter. So please go ahead with your public comment.
Okay, I'm Crystal Weissong again. This is difficult for me because Sarah Lee is my neighbor, part-time neighbor, and I know her pretty well. But I also know Thomas's wife really well. I've worked with her for 2 years, maybe. She's volunteer with the Military Community Garden that I run. And I have it right here in text message form. His plan, he didn't want to be president. That's all I need to say, I guess, that was not the goal. Or I believe that Jennifer would have told me what was really going on. I trust that. So maybe Sarah misunderstood. I just wanted to, and Thomas, I feel like he's really, I'll say victim, but this is really, a lot of it is being put on him. And like I said before, I hope we can all learn from this and move forward.
All right, I would like to address the people online because I believe we're coming to a part where we could close down public comment. So if anyone has their hand raised where they're going to repeat essentially what's already been said in public comment, I would respectfully request that you remove that option. And so if there's anybody else who has something to say that is new to add to the discussion, please leave your hand raised, because I think it's time for we need to move on in our meeting. We need to move on in the motion meeting. So, no.
I believe the 3 hands you still have spoken already. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So that means if they've spoken.
There might be a new, I'm not sure if you've heard. Oh, no, sorry.
We have not.
Ava? I believe might be one item. Sorry, I shouldn't be interfering with Lisa's job. Apologize.
To you, baby.
Eva?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I won't take a lot of time because I feel like the community is helping create a resolution here. But what really alarmed me, in addition to a lot of the things that have been said, is this reeks of fascism. And as we watch our democracy eroding nationally, I would hope that locally we could take a better approach to what goes on in our community and really regard democracy and hearing from the people, not misinformation, not lack of information, but to have transparency. Thank you.
This concludes public comment, and I believe that there's going to be a motion made regarding the approval of the agenda.
I'm going to motion that we remove items A and B from the agenda.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Roll call vote, please.
President Doolittle.
Yes.
Director Fish.
Yes.
Director Sloan.
Yes.
Director Jarlsberg,
No.
and Vice President Short.
Yes.
All right, thank you. So returning now to our, again, thank you everyone for coming and everyone for comments. You know what, I just like to quickly, if I may, say something. I had some comments prepared, but I have so much paperwork that I brought because I didn't know what I was defending myself against. But I appreciate where this is coming from. And obviously there must be some issues that must be addressed. And I just want to tell the board that I am committed to trying to fix these issues in a way where we are all able to communicate clearly and I can understand what the phrase, "you're sending me too many emails," actually means. So I think some communication and some regrouping and some building back some bridges and alliances for the board, because I think that there's been a division that's unhealthy for sound governance. So thank you very much. We'll now move to agenda item 5, which is the consent calendar. Items on the consent calendar are expected to be routine and non-controversial, to be acted upon by the board at one time without discussion. If a board member would like an item to be handled separately, it will be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. I hope everyone online can hear us. Items on the consent calendar today include A, the draft minutes from 7/15/26, which are recommended for approval. B, the June 2026 check register, which is recommended for approval. And C, the Eide Bailly MSA, Master Services Agreement, which is recommended for approval. Are there any requests from the board for separate action on the consent calendar? All right, so is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Was there a second?
I'll second.
All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No, the motion carries. Now we move to the action calendar part of the agenda, and we will be beginning with item C, which is concerns the district's potential membership and participation in the Joshua Tree Association of Business and Culture, with the board to provide direction as appropriate. This agenda item was requested by Director Fick and will be presented by Director of Administration David Shook, assisted by Director of Finance Ann Roman. So you guys take it away.
I think this is me and Director Fick. This was a board member requested item, discussion about potentially joining the Joshua Tree Association of Business and Culture. And the staff report was written by staff to assist Director Fick. However, I'd be happy to turn that over to him so that he can discuss his position on the item.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I made this request because this was a request by Don Rao 2 years ago, last August.
Our supervisor.
Our supervisor. She was wanting to, being that Joshua Tree had no other entity to react to other than the water district. She wanted something because the MAC no longer exists and the chamber no longer exists. So she wanted something to react to. So this JTABC, which is the Joshua Tree, I always call it Alliance, but it's an association of business and culture, has been developed and it's still in development. Although I understand most of the dotting the i's and crossing the t's, becoming a 501(c)(3) have been completed, and they are C6. Okay, C6. Sorry. And so it's pretty much the same entity as a chamber, and it represents all of 92252 Joshua Tree. Although I'm pretty sure it's mostly downtown Joshua Tree, the businesses, and some enthusiastic residents. And I'm on a small category of it, which has a small committee, which I haven't been to too many of them, but anyway. So anyway, in the community's outlet from the county, they want to have something to react to other than the water district. And so they wanted to react to JTABC. And this is regarding being that they're going to throw $25 million towards Joshua Tree in the next 3 years. There would be some input by this JTABC group. Now, Joshua Tree's Water District can use this because we would want to have interaction with the business community of downtown Joshua Tree. This is an easy way to get input. And in fact, I'm pretty sure that they had input on the April 1st event and possibly a little of this event too. But it's needed by the Joshua Basin Water District. Now, I'm not saying that it should be a per diem for any director. In fact, I probably want somebody of staff to go to it just because I've been to probably a majority of the JTABC board meetings and, well, half of them at least, and then some of the general meetings they've had. So I'm impressed by the effort they're making. We also have Thomas Fialstam here, who is the treasurer of JTABC, so he probably knows more about it than anybody, and he can answer those questions. I don't know if the Joshua Basin Water District wants to be a voting member, which is $200, but it's a business. This agency is a business, so that qualifies that way. I know in the fine print and in the agenda, it gets very particular about whether a public agency can be a business and if what it should be. It should be. Maybe, I don't know, whatever way it can happen, but I'd like to see a staff member visiting the general meetings of this situation. So, Dr. David Shook, anything from you?
You're on the agenda, so that's why I said.
Oh, I'm on the next item.
Oh, you are? Is that why? Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
No, I've attended one. I think one of the first initial meetings that they had, and I don't personally think it would be a bad idea, but I haven't had much experience aside from that initial meeting too.
Well, the most experienced person in this room regarding JTABC is Mr. Thomas Fialstam. So if Anne has any questions for this before our board decides on this.
Well, we got some deliberation. Yeah, go ahead. I mean, please. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, David, for introducing this. And so we're, as we say, newly formed. We had a few initial meetings like a couple of years ago, but things shook out a little bit. Now we've gotten to incorporating. We've formed a 501c6, which is a member benefits organization. And that's businesses and nonprofits can join. And we are very specific in 92252 zip code. And we've formed, exactly as David described it, at the request of Don Rao as some sort of local representation in lieu of the Chamber of Commerce basically not existing or our MAC not existing as well. So we are, Joshua Tree Association of Business and Culture. We are acting in a type of chamber of commerce, if that makes it easier to understand. Our mission, I'll just read our mission to you. Our mission is to unite and empower Joshua Tree's business and cultural leaders to strengthen community and cultivate a vibrant, sustainable local economy through experience tourism, where creativity, stewardship, and education come together to honor shared spaces and protect our desert home for future generations. So that's our mission statement. And as David said, I'm the treasurer, and I'm also, we formed various different director positions, which are leading various committees of different things that we want to sort of accomplish within the community here. And I'm director of infrastructure growth and development, which is very concerned about with our water district and development, especially in downtown, but concerned with development of the whole 92252 zip code. And having the Joshua Basin Water District as a full member, $200 a year, would be a huge benefit for our organization. And we would love to have participation of a representative to attend our member meetings. So it would be nice. I'm also part of the Citizen Advisory Council, so I'm pretty well connected with the district also too. But it would be nice to have someone that could maybe report to the board too, if there is anything that connects with your concern. So if you have any questions.
How often are the meetings?
We're monthly right now, and we're the first Tuesday of the month, and our member meetings start at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yes, 6 p.m. Yes.
Director Pitt.
Okay. I was just going to add, back in the times of the chamber existing, Claudine Diaz, general manager of Joshua Water District, became the president of the chamber from 96 to 2000.
All right, sorry, Director Drawsburg, I didn't mean to call him over you.
No,
So,
sorry.
All right.
I had a couple of questions. Where are you meeting?
We meet at, we haven't had a set place, but basically sanctuaries. We've been meeting, the director of the retreat center has been gracious to offer us meeting space, but you know, that could change. We're not set in one space, but we do have an agenda that gets mailed out monthly and we do get, once you get signed up on our email list, you get the notifications.
What I want to do.
Yes.
But who is it restricted who can attend the meetings?
Okay, so yes, so we have a website, joshuatreeabc.org, and you can sign up for our email list through there. I believe we're working on it, so there might be a little kinks in there, but you can also send an email to info@joshuatreeabc.org. And we're open to anybody participating in or attending. We have general meetings quarterly, and that's when we're sort of, but our member meetings are restricted to members. So yeah, once you get to be a member, then you can attend our member meetings, and members can participate in the different committees that we have. But our general meetings will be held quarterly as announced. Yeah.
I was involved in the Chamber of Commerce when I first moved here 9 years ago, and really miss it. And there are certain abilities of the Chamber of Commerce that I don't think this group has yet, like accessing funds that come to us through POTs. And is there any plans of perhaps trying to get more power, let's say, to this group?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I appreciate you asking that. So I was president of the Chamber of Commerce for about 2 years also. So, and I do miss it because it maybe a year after that, it did dissolve and kind of went away, unfortunately. And I'm very saddened by that. During that time as vice president, because I think I served on it for maybe 7 years also. And during that time, the county, they were providing a percentage of the TOT when I first started, but then they cut off our funding and they basically left us to not having any funding whatsoever. And so that really severely handicapped us, and I feel eventually led to the demise of the chamber also. So so this is very much on my mind, and I do wish, and also as a vacation rental owner, I wish to see TOT coming back in our community. Our organization is not necessarily a pass-through organization or a nonprofit for taking in funds. We have to represent what our members want, but we can form, and we do intend to form, like a 501c3 that could, or maybe utilize another local 501c3 that could, you know, take on potentially funds that, you know, like TOT, if we can't do that, you know, as a 501c6. But yeah, that is an intention of ours to eventually get to that. I mean, I've been on with the county also. They've been looking into forming a TBID, which is a tourism infrastructure district, I think. And so basically 29 Palms has one, and I don't know if Yucca Valley just, you know, they basically put it in their general fund as our county collects money from here, our TOT, and that goes in the general fund. So it would be discretionary money from our supervisor that could come back into our community. And I'm very much for advocating for that.
Well, I'm curious where a water district fits in. Actually, CSDA.
California Special District.
Special District. We're a special district. And it's kind of a different category than city council or something like that. And I'm wondering if we might have an opinion from our legal counsel as whether it's appropriate, would be appropriate if you moved the purpose of this organization to a 501c3, would we still be able to be a member? Would it be helpful for us to be a member? You know, I've been thinking about this organization as well as our part in it, and how appropriate or how important it would be for us to be part of it.
Yeah, I would be interested in hearing from legal counsel as well, but I feel like that you are a corporation and a business that is doing business in this, and
that's what I want to know.
What I understand, yeah.
Possible?
Is there a question for council? Yeah.
Yes, I'm happy to. So just to clarify, you are not a corporation nor
Exactly.
technically a business. You are a California Special District and public agency. The criteria that affect you, and that's one obviously the items that you're discussing, is that the district can obviously contribute and be involved as long as it as long as the board finds that it serves a legitimate public purpose related to the district's functions. So that's the criteria that would allow the district to participate or not in terms of paying the membership fee. One other criteria that you would need to look at as you, in particular with a 501c6 rather than a C3, because a C6 does have the ability to, as I understand it, and I don't know whether it plans to or not, but it does have the ability to be involved in political lobbying. And one item that we would need to confirm is that there will be an option or a category or membership category for the district as a public agency to pay its dues, but have its dues restricted from going into that particular fund or being segregated, so that you don't violate anything as a public agency contributing towards activities that you otherwise can't contribute to. So that's the main criteria, but the primary issue is that it serves a legitimate public purpose related to the functions of the district.
That is, it helps, but I'm not sure it answers everything.
Another thought is that this is after work hours as well, so assigning staff to go to that might be difficult, especially since those of us in this room are here every other Wednesday as well. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Director Fick, I believe you have.
Yeah, I was gonna add two things. One is the chamber, Joshua Chamber, was liquidated or cut off funding because CEO Devereaux was wanting to stop all payments to all unincorporated chambers of commerce. So it wasn't just our chamber that he did this to; he did it to all corporate.
Who was that?
CEO Devereaux.
County CEO.
County?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
This was a few years ago. So
Yeah, I didn't.
you had another point?
Well, I am just to claim I am a member, associate member, so it's $50 a year. So that's why I know about this group as my business, Innovative Graphics.
Right.
Well, he mentioned lobbying, and I do believe we intend to lobby, for getting TOT or money or discretionary funds from the county. So if that.
You mean like hiring a lobbyist or lobbying, talking to legislators, or just calling some up on the phone and saying, we want these $2? I mean, I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how that would go about, but I mean, we would basically go and for our members, we would represent our members to, and the members all have voting ability on various, activity that we are doing. So we would basically go and promote the membership's interest to various representatives, political and
So forth.
Yeah.
Do you have legal counsel?
Not currently.
Jeff, did you have anything to say about that as far as the advocacy part of this goes?
I think that's probably a detail, and that kind of was, I think I made the suggestions relative to the recommendation on the latter part. So I think as long as the board finds, if you were to pursue membership and find that it would serve a legitimate public purpose related to your functions, which could be, I've heard, education of the community relative to water. There's certainly things that you could potentially find, but it's the board's really province to determine that there's that link to the district's functions. We did recommend that if there is an approval, it be contingent upon confirmation of the district's eligibility and appropriate membership categories. So what we can do is then further clarify and define, and I don't have it in front of me, unfortunately, but you do have certain limits as to what your money can go towards. And I know it's a small amount that you'd be contributing on a per member basis, but we could always clarify that and just confirm that as part of your membership that you're able to have your dues not go to any prohibited activities for a public agency.
Oh, all right. Okay. So then I guess I can entertain a motion if we are done with deliberation.
Well,
Oh, sorry. Director Blowen?
I haven't said anything all night, so I thought I'd pitch in on something like this. What concerns me is that Joshua Basin Water District has its own brand that it has been cultivating for about 62 years, something like that now. And so say if we were a voting member among many, we'll say, and you folks want to do something that you think sounds good, but we don't, and it's implemented because you're the majority voted for yes, we get associated, our brand gets associated with something that we don't agree with. We get dragged into it, so to speak. And so that's kind of a concern of mine. The part where Director Fick said that the relationship between the county and the water district is, or with Joshua Tree community, is that there's no handles on us where they can, because of the the county meeting was canceled or disappeared or abandoned.
The MAC, yeah.
And so there's no representative here to talk to. And so if this would sort of fill that gap, I think it would be a good thing. If this organization is not fully formed, it might, given what I just said, if I said it right, we could wait on it, which causes those guys a problem because now they don't have our brand in there, which sort of helps to promote the whole idea of this. And I was kind of wondering too, and I assume this is true, that if we do encounter difficulties with this, we could quit too.
Can we have our money back if that's the case?
It's not like we're being drafted.
Yeah.
Who got drafted, who didn't. So we can always not do it anymore. And we can also publicize our disagreement on certain issues and stuff like that.
And our events.
But I'm kind of concerned about how fully formed this thing is. Needless to say, I'm frustrated here too that we, other than tonight, we don't have a lot of community participation here, but I'm an enthusiast of it. And so it's somewhat appealing to me to vote yes on this in a suspicious sort of way. Thank you.
Could I answer? So on the newly formed question, I guess is kind of uncertain to you. So we're coming up on our 2-year mark for our executive board. So basically December marks our 2-year that we started our executive board, and we are fully incorporated and have tax-free status as well. So if you're wondering how well formed we are, but we've been meeting monthly, and we're working out committees and getting all, we're getting feedback from our members and taking onboarding more members as we're going. So
thank you.
Right. All right. Hearing no more.
So,
sorry, Director.
I'm sorry. It just brought up some more questions because your name is business and culture, and we don't fit into that. I don't know if you eventually would or could, maybe if you added something else to your name. And I'm not sure what it would be, considering, what Director Sloan was talking about. I also feel, what does the 6 stand for? What can you do under the C6?
It's basically, I don't know all the details about it. Maybe I'm sure council will probably be a lot more aware.
4 and 3 and some other.
Yeah, but we're a member benefits association. So basically all our activities have to be in benefit of all our members. We can't act outside of that, what the interest of our membership is.
Which is business and culture.
Yeah, I mean, a special districts is kind of hard to add, and that's like a lot of words.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I feel it would still fit in under that umbrella without being specifically named.
As you can see, Mr. Farrellston, we have a very engaged board, and Director Flowen has a question.
Yeah, this might be for Jeff too. LAFCO, Local Agency Formation Commission. Do they allow us to do such a thing and to join a thing such as this? Is that within our purview?
LAFCO doesn't have, so LAFCO is really, it basically controls within what boundaries special districts can provide services. So this wouldn't really implicate or involve any LAFCO approvals by any means. Really, the limitation that I was speaking of earlier was 501c6, unlike a 501c3. As I understand it, can contribute to political campaigns, candidates, endorse ballot measures, and those types of political activities. And that's the limitation. The district can't. So if you were to join, typically we need to ensure that there is a membership category where we can make sure that our funds are earmarked so they aren't used for those purposes. They're only used for the educational and the community benefit items that aren't political. It is really the only limitation there. As long as the board is able to connect a legitimate purpose of the district, a function of the district to why you'd be joining the commission. So that's obviously one of the findings you want to make, or make that connection if you do approve to join. But if you base that on a reasonable basis, then the board is largely given deference in terms of making that decision.
Director Fick?
Okay, well, just to remind people about the Wild West days of the Joshua Water District, between 95 and 99, the general manager of this district was president of the chamber. So I don't know what kind of violations we're having back then, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. Also, I do have influence with the JTABC. I think I do. And so if they were trying to endorse any candidate for political purposes, I would try and greatly dissuade them from doing that as a business, not as John Straits Water District board member, but as a business, I would. And they listen to me.
So Director Ann Roman, I was going to call on you and just ask you about special district and business. If was that something you were going to say, or if you could share.
Yes, I think Jeff has clarified that for us, and there isn't currently a membership category that would per se earmark our funds so that they couldn't be used for political purposes. So that's a little tricky territory, I think. What I was going to mention though is that if you decide to motion, I think it would be helpful to also discuss the idea of whether staff or a board member would be designated to attend. The staff report does seem to assume that it would be a director that would be attending. And if so, we would have to amend the administrative code to allow or to make that a authorized meeting. So we would need to know that.
Oh, so do we have to make it an authorized meeting? I guess we do, since we have membership in it.
If the directors are going to attend, then it would be an authorized meeting eligible for payment of the stipend.
Right, the per diem is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I think we've concluded deliberation, and I was just going to ask, does our CAC chairman, David Carrillo, have anything to say as a representative of the community?
Yes, it's interesting. I would like to see it go out a little further and see how it settles and how it grows. Good or bad, we're going to be guilty by association. People aren't going to know that whether our funds are going for something or not. And I think we have a CAC member in it. If he wanted, he could always come back to the board and report what's going on as far as just getting it firsthand, and seems to be very invested in it. So that's always a good thing. So that's just things to think about. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So did we need to amend this in some way to make a motion?
No, okay. If we can have discussion about the
discussion, right?
Who's going to be appointed, and then if that can be a motion as well, that would be helpful, I think.
So, board members who should be attending this meeting?
I'm already attending them just as a bit of a graphics, not John Straits Water District, and I don't think a per diem would be. Is a per diem required? I don't want it to be.
Well, I mean, you don't have to accept it. You can waive it. But if it was not in the administrative code, then you would never be entitled to it. So, I mean, I think you could, on your own, choose to attend to go. But on the district's behalf, as a member, with the district being a member, I think it would make sense for it to be in the administrative code if a director was intended to attend these meetings.
Well,
Can we make the choice between a staff or?
That's what we're doing.
I prefer to have staff do it. Because I go anyway, and so we want to have, staff do it.
Director Jarlsberg?
Well, yeah, I don't know about the staff myself. I have to think about it. I think I'm leaning towards postponing the decision because I think we need more information and more history. I want to attend the meetings, but I won't go as a board member. I'm really interested in what they're doing and where they're going to build to. I would think it'd be fine if David went, but maybe not as a formal. You can report like we do the Landers meeting and not necessarily take a compensation for the meeting.
I see their value as when there's $25 million coming towards Joshua Tree for the next 3 years, because remember, the group that was just here April 1st, it's been 4 months before we saw them again, and probably going to be another 5 or 6 months. I don't know. But this 25 million needs a steering group. And other than the county consultants who are going to come in from wherever, we have the locals who want to have input on downtown Joshua Tree and Alta Loma and Park and all that. And this group is sort of formed for that because we don't have a MAC, we don't have a chamber, we have the JTABC. And so I see that as a actual interface with the community and being able to steer this special consultants group. So,
Director Flowen?
Does the county have any say-so in, membership or our participation in that? Would they recognize what we say and do and stuff like that through this organization?
If I understand it correctly, the group speaks with one voice. Is that right?
Well, yeah, we'll basically poll our membership and whatever the membership feels is appropriate for, what type of advocacy that we need to do, then we'll move forward with that.
So if the county, if you folks are having a meeting and there's subject matter that the county is interested in, would they be willing to attend or not? Would be another way to put it too. And can we predict that?
We've invited a county member to one of our meetings already. So yeah, if they're, we want to meet with county representatives. As far as membership meetings, I'm not sure exactly what our in having county as a member. I don't think we are allowing for that at this time. So, but the county can attend our general meetings, and we also invite various representatives that in our meetings that we've already had with one particular gentleman from planning. To basically to develop a relationship with them.
Our consultant and longtime resident Kathleen Radnich has something to say or offer.
2 questions, one for JTABC and one for our lawyer on behalf of the Water District. Are you fully insured with errors and omission and general liability? And if not, were we to become a member, us being a deep pocket, are we in any way, shape, or form threatened were the entity JTABC be sued, because we're a community-owned water district, and I just want to make sure I'm not paying for a loss, because you can be political as a 501c6.
Yeah, well, we don't currently have the insurance in place. Well, just to know about that.
Yeah. So for our attorney, yeah.
I don't know why you would have, they're a separate organization and corporation. So I do not know of a basis that liability would pass through them to you. Absent, you're getting into corporate law there. I'm not really prepared to fully answer that, but you'd have to have something so egregious that you could pierce the corporate veil to reach Joshua Basin just like you would an individual director or shareholder or stakeholder in a corporation, which are pretty limited in severe circumstances. Can't really go into detail on that much beyond that, but I wouldn't see a significant risk to a member based on the liability of that corporation. But we could always research if it was something the board had an interest in finding out before you made a decision, if that was a desire.
Thank you.
Well, if I may offer something, I haven't had much to say about this, although I think it's a good idea to join this group. It sounds like that there's too many open questions, and I do agree with Director Jarlsberg that I think we should table this or continue it for a future discussion. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
For a second.
Is there a second for the motion to
I think
table
I
this?
heard what you say. Is there a second?
Is there a second for the motion?
What is the motion?
The motion is to continue the discussion of membership in the JTABC and also the discussion regarding who would participate in it to a future meeting.
Okay, I'll second.
All right. So, all in favor, say, would it be all in favor, wouldn't it be? Well, I think so. All in favor, say aye. Aye. The motion carries. Please let the record reflect. I want to thank our speaker from the JTABC, and I'm sure you'll be back again to talk to us.
Yeah. Thank you for talking.
Thank you for considering.
So, yeah. All right. So, moving on. Next, the board will discuss and provide direction regarding changes to the Customer Account Assistance Program, the CAAP. I want to make sure I did this right because I got it wrong a little while ago. Director Fick brought this discussion request to the board. He and David Shook are presenting. So
I can start if you like.
yeah, Director of Administration, David Shook.
As mentioned, this is a board member requested discussion item regarding the Customer Account Assistance Program, or CAP. No action is being recommended other than discussing the program and providing direction if the board wishes to consider changes. Staff's assessment is that the program is functioning as intended. It provides meaningful assistance to qualifying customers while maintaining eligibility standards, encouraging timely repairs, and minimizing impacts on other ratepayers. Staff has not identified an operational need to modify the program at this time. If the board would like to consider changes, staff is requesting direction on the specific policy areas to review. Any proposed changes could have fiscal and administrative impacts. And staff also recommend that any amendments first be reviewed, by the Citizens Advisory Council, or the CAC, before returning to the board. At this time, the board can choose to leave the program unchanged, direct staff to analyze specific other changes, direct staff to prepare amendments, or provide other directions consistent with the agenda item. So just for a little context, in the year 24-25, we were able to assist 18 customers and used just over 64% of the budget, totaling $7,696.45. And in 25-26, we've helped 14 customers, but we've used 97.5% of the budget, which was actually increased. So the program is working the way that we intended when we brought it for discussion previously, in my opinion.
Director Fick or any other directors?
I have some questions. I'm trying, if I remember right, there's two measures in this. One is the budget and two is the overage of the leakage as far as money goes. It was, if I remember right, it was 6,000 total and it was 600 overage, and then it was cut to 400 overage and it was doubled to 12,000. So now it's like 12,000. The budget's for this 12,000?
20,000.
Is that 20,000?
It's a 20. Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's 400.
That's what you wanted.
And how much have we used of that? Of the 20,000 to up to now?
Well, just in this fiscal year, less than 1,000 so far.
But of 2026, you may not know that.
That's
It's the full, almost the full budget. It was, what did you say, 98?
90.
That's what I heard him say, yeah.
So since July 1, we've helped someone with less than 1,000. So that's a different fiscal year.
Oh, right.
And so of the applicants, how many applicants are refused, or we don't know?
I checked with customer support and only 4 were ineligible after they applied for that.
Out of how many?
18 or 22.
I was thinking of having it go from 400 to 300. I don't know how they become uneligible, you know, if they came close or whatever, but
I can definitely look at that.
yeah, my concern is that we're going to go through a bit more hard times. We were sort of adjusting for that a couple of years ago with the dropping for 6 months of the increase of 9% increase, but we're still going through hard times. And I want to be a bit more adaptable. It sounds like, you know, 4% you said? 97.7. That's pretty good.
Yes.
And so I'd like to see it go from 400 to 300.
Sure. And just for reference, when we discussed it last time, the difference had to be 700. And when we initially brought it, we were proposing that the difference would be 500, and the board requested to drop that to 400. So I think that did help.
And when we say, and when we say 400, we mean that's the cutoff. So isn't that?
That's the amount above their normal usage.
Dollar amount, or
yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
So
key.
if you'd like, I can maybe work with finance and do some kind of analyzation and see what 300 would do. And
I would like that. I would like
to the budget. That's
yeah,
sure.
I think the property ownership, though, or the property status may be a deterrent as well. The property must be a primary residence. So it would be interesting to see, or a long-term tenant. So it would be interesting to see how many of those that did qualify were because of that property status as well.
If it's a second home, they could afford whatever happens. So. So yeah, I'd like to see 300. And if being that it's 97%, that means that maybe it should be 24,000 instead of 20,000. Consider that, please.
We had an exceptional situation in this past year. So I'm not sure if this is going to be representative of what this coming year will be. We had a very large leak in 25, 26.
Yes.
That quite a bit of that budget.
Substantial amount.
Yeah. So I'm not sure that that's.
Was that Mr. Pilani?
I don't know. No.
He's up in Panel Heights area. He coveted that sometimes.
All right. So I believe we're winding up this discussion, but I just want to say, Director Flowen, sorry.
Yeah, just because something is in, an allowance for spending has been made in a budget, that doesn't necessarily give us free run to spend it all the way up to that limit. On the other side of the coin, I'm kind of at least like to talk about the 503C, 501(c), right there too. Possibility of including them and people that can get some sort of forgiveness, but the First Amendment of the Constitution says that the government, that would be the federal government, can't do anything that favors a religion, and that for that 501(c) situation would include religious organizations. So I don't know if we could do it for them, that kind of thing. Because we've had at least one situation, Copper Mountain Mesa is the one that comes to mind, where they had a huge water bill regarding their irrigation situation. And it was kind of a heartbreaker up there. And I think they had to finance it, which meant they would end up paying an interest on it too. And those community organizations, the one in Landers also, they had other issues. They are there to do nothing but good things, and their income is usually from a thrift store. They deliver, or they facilitate the delivery of food to the poor, that kind of thing. And so to at least discuss that, if it's legal for us to do it and decide if we have the money or not, it would be worth talking about. Thank you.
All right, so this was for informational purposes. There was potential board action, but I believe, how would you want to say that this was, did we identify specific cap provisions for further review and direct staff to return with an analysis of the financial, operational, and ratepayer impacts? Does that cover it? Or do we want to prepare specified amendments to the cap and return them to the board for consideration?
No, I think the first option sounds.
Okay. You just let the record reflect that's the second bullet. Right.
Thank you for the input.
Find the page. So the final item on our action calendar this evening is the one that we always enjoy, and it's for informational purposes only. Director of Administration David Shook will give us a report on customer service.
Thank you very much once again. I was hoping to have my clicker, but at least it's going to have to be my clicker. I like to stand up when I do these. It's been a stressful day, so we'll shake it out some. All right. Here we go. So I do this a couple times a year for our board and members of the community. Thank you for attending our meeting tonight and participating and taking part. So once again, my name is David Shook. I'm Director of Administration here at Joshua Basin Water District, and this is a customer support staff report covering January through June 2026. So once again, it's just covering that time period. So we process via DocuSign, and we've had similar application numbers where we're processing the first half of 2026 as we did the second half of 2025.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Can I just interrupt for a minute?
Of course.
I'd like to see you in the picture so when someone watches this future video, they can see who's talking. Thank you. Good job.
No, right back to you.
Okay, we'll look up here.
Okay. So we actually processed 370, excuse me, water service applications. For that same time period at the end of 2025, we processed 371. This averages about 61 per month. Oh, there it is right there. In the second half of 2025, we processed 371 applications. Phone calls. Our staff are always on the phone. I ran some additional numbers that I didn't think I would want to include in this, but now I'm kind of regretting that decision because my initial calculation was that they spent 30% of their time on the telephone with customers, either receiving calls or outgoing calls. So for that time period of January through June, our customer support specialists fielded 6,830 phone calls. Many of these were transferred to the online Paymentus portal. And our specialists spent 336 hours on the phone during that time frame. So when I took those hours, I think we were open like 99 days in that 6-month time frame or something like that. So the math kind of equated out to that. We're on the phone a lot. Higher than normal use letters. This is something new that we've kind of talked about sporadically in some of our board meetings. So for that time period, we sent out 182 higher than average use letters. So what that means is our billing and customer support supervisor, she takes a look at the reads when they come in once a month for the periods of October, November, December, January, and February. Any that are over 10, if a customer has historically used 10 units or less, anything that's well above that, she sends them a specialized letter that they may have something going on out that property. Most of these letters were for notices between 10 and 20 units. We also had a very high use and a notice went out for 627 units. Luckily for us, the property manager was aware of it. The property owner was aware of it. Our field staff made contact with them. They acknowledged that they knew that they were going to receive a high bill and had already fixed the problem. All right, working with the field, Field Logic data log devices. If you're not familiar with this, this device has been extremely valuable to our district. While I am still awaiting AMI information with less and less patience, these devices plug into the MXU, which is the radio portion of our meters. And what we get is data via a CSV Excel spreadsheet. And what we do for customers, and so that we ourselves can see it, we take that data and we put it to a graph so that we can have a visual representation of what the numbers are showing. That first example there was an irrigation. You can see there on the left, every day at the same exact time, they had the same water usage. Now, what you notice is that there's a dramatic decrease down where the line goes flat at 0, meaning that they had something consistently running in addition to their irrigation going on. So there was either a hose being left on, or there's a number of things. Could be a swamp cooler issue, but they had it addressed. That read dropped to 0 while they fixed that problem. And then once they started getting things back to normal and turning irrigation back on, they were able to see that, their usage goes down to 0. So an example for me, I have a family of 5. We use a decent amount of water. During the school year, when my wife and I are at work and my kids are all at school, my read goes down to 0, which should be normal. If it's above that, then there's something that's consistently running at your house. We're frequently finding toilets, hoses being left on. I was a few minutes late coming into the meeting from when I wanted to be in here because our support specialist was on the phone with somebody who was admitting to her that he had left a hose on outside. So it happens very frequently. The second example there is not something that any of us are excited to see, but is a tenant being evicted and telling the property owner, take that. So luckily, these are all, it was only, I think that was 9 days that was for.
Oh, good.
So we were able to show them this graph and say, you were right, they did turn it on and leave it on. Another example on the bottom there is something that we frequently see, similar to the top one, where they have something constantly running and then you've got normal usage, and then the problem is fixed. I believe that comment down there was related to the last example. Tried twice to conduct a water survey, which is something that we offer currently free of charge to customers, where we go out and we'll take an assessment. We'll run this Field Logic data from their MXU and provide feedback on that. Apparently our field staff tried to make contact with them twice and no response either time. So we're trying to do our part to meet with customers and provide them as much information as we can. One of the issues with these graphs is that I can only expand it out so far to make it understandable because there's so much data in there. I can change from month, day, year to single digit month and double digit day. Anyway, so what that means is I have to go from column A all the way to like AZ on an Excel spreadsheet to stretch it out enough for them to understand. So if someone comes in and they say, I want to see my printout, I'll be more than happy to show you that. So I print the mini version of it and then a better printout, because what happens is that you've got 45 days of usage on columns A, B, and C that are by every hour. So you can imagine a spreadsheet is, 400 pages long. So, but I think this has gone very well for us. It gives me confidence in AMI. Does anybody not know what AMI is?
Say it.
Automatic meter infrastructure, where we would have this data on a daily basis instead of having to deploy one of our staff to go out and extract this, because each of these graphs takes probably 5 to 6 minutes to go out. And sometimes they'll have 20 of these in a day that we ask them to do. So they're constantly going and plugging them in. And then at the end of the day, they bring a flash drive to me and I put it in our folder so that our staff up front can convert this to spreadsheet and with the graph and send it to customers at their request. So it's very helpful. So having that on a daily basis would be positive, in my opinion. Thank you. I'm going to take a drink of water. Sorry, and then I'll come back to my spot because I don't want to be out of view.
Everybody drink.
Oh, this one. Okay, you can go ahead and hit play on that bad boy.
Oh, that's good. It's on this.
Oh, that beautiful green that's not really supposed to be there. It's nice. So this was actually a customer that we were able to help with the cap, Director Fick. So that situation, although it's still ongoing, 8 months later, we're still working with that person, and we have been able to help them and get their issue fixed on their property.
They're only allowed twice in a year or twice in 2 years, right?
Once every 2 years.
Every 2 years. So how does this work if it's continuing going on, or was it just one event?
That's an interesting caveat because going back to CAP, what we were looking at is if they didn't use it in 24 and 25, then they could carry over, and then their year would start at the calendar year instead of, if that makes any sense at all. A little, yeah.
Question.
Yes.
Are there devices that homeowners can get to monitor their?
That's an excellent question. I have our meters and those devices use the same technology. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself on purpose, because the AMI information that I'm anticipating getting soon will have all of that information with it. So there is one called Bluebot that I have not used yet. I myself, I put a $19 camera. I mounted it on the inside of my meter box lid so I could look at if my leak detection was going on. So that was just me. Anyway, so with AMI, that device will be moot because we'll be able to get that. And you can call me and say, David, I want my read for today. Or if you get the application, then you can get on your phone and use it. But I don't have all the data for that program specifically yet. So I don't want to say too much and then have to retract it later. All right, thank you. Common findings, as you saw in that beautiful green grass video, there's a recurring theme of irrigation programming issues, manually watering, leaving hoses on. In 2026, we did not have any customer requests for meter testing. That's drastically different from prior years. And the reason that's important, one, because I think the FieldLogic data is really giving the customers the information that they need, because their next argument was previously, well, it's got to be something wrong with the meter. Okay, well, you can pay to have it tested. We take it to a third-party tester down in Hemet. We go remove it. We put a temporary meter there. We drive it down to Hemet. We wait. I've done it myself personally with field staff, gone down and watched the testing being done. It has to meet 3 categories of water, what's the term I'm looking for? When it goes through.
Velocity.
Volume, yeah, all of those. The amount of water that's going through the meter is measured in low flow, medium flow, and a high flow. So the meters have to meet state testing in those three groups to pass. We have not had to do that, I feel, because the customers have been, I don't want to say satisfied, but more content with the amount of data that we're able to give them with those field logic devices. And I want to thank all the staff for the input, dedication, and resilience. I had a hard time because we frequently receive comments from some of our customers that I wanted to print out and share with you all tonight, but I decided to refrain from doing that. So in the near future, I'll be happy to share those with you so that you have an idea of what our staff up front deal with, listen to, have to read. So thank you for your.
I have one more question.
Yes.
The 370 new services, so those are brand new meters. Those are.
No, those are water service applications. So that's just if someone is wanting to start water at their property, that's what they're filling out.
Right. Including existing meters.
Yes.
Yeah, not necessarily.
What's the average cost?
Yeah.
What's the average cost of a meter nowadays, a new meter?
We'd have to refer to my super binder for that. There's a lot that goes into the calculation. So they range now between 18
and I did one today that was in the 17s, 15,000, and if they're in the wastewater capacity charge area, it's another 7,221 more. So on the low end, 17,000, on the high end, 25-ish. Because of those capacity charges primarily.
Are you working on a question there, Director Paul?
Can I
go ahead.
Can I mention one more thing? Sorry. When it comes to our website, the homepage remained the most visited page with approximately 19,000 visits. These are rounded up from Google Analytics, followed by Pay My Bill at 6,600. Employment opportunities, start and reinstate service, and board of directors pages rounded out the top 5. Most visitors reach the site by entering our web address directly, and Google serving as the second largest traffic source. So thought that was.
May I ask that? I missed the part that gave us the time period for that one, that data?
January through June.
This year?
Yes.
This year. Okay, thanks. Are there any more questions? Okay, well, Director Johnson?
How often are you going to do a report like this? Quarterly or something like
Well,
that?
I think they were quarterly, but the information was a little redundant, I think. So we switched to twice a year.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
I'm sorry. I did want to say that I am getting great feedback from our ratepayers and customers that they really value the higher than average communications that they're being given. And there's deep gratitude from them for the district reaching out to them and telling them, hey, we see a problem. So I just want to thank the district for doing that. That's great.
Thank you. I'll be sure.
Really improving the customer experience.
Could I just say one other comment too?
Yeah, Director Johnson.
I want to remind ratepayers that your bill is telling you that you're paying it now for a month ago, right? So there's a delay a lot of times with leaks until you get your bill. But what you're doing is really being on top of it when it's happening.
Right.
So that's
yeah.
a vast improvement.
As soon as the reads come in, we take a look at those numbers to send out the troops, so to speak, to go see what they can find.
So I appreciate that too, as a ratepayer.
Maybe in the future, instead of troops, there'll be drones.
You never know.
Not taking anyone's job away.
You need a drone pilot. So.
Yeah. So item 8, we're skipping tonight, which I have on the agenda that we're skipping that. That's the manager's report, unless Some matters.
Included,
Correct.
attached.
Oh, okay, it's attached. That tells you I didn't have a chance to really read the agenda. So, all right, so they're already included. So is there anything we need to discuss or are there any questions? All right, so then let's move on to item 9, which are directors' reports and comments. And these comments are for information within the jurisdiction of the district. And it's for informational purposes on subjects not covered by the agenda. Please note that these opinions expressed are by the individual directors and they do not necessarily reflect those of the board or district staff. Director Charles Burke.
I'm not going to talk anymore tonight.
I know the feeling. Yeah. All right, Director Fick.
Well, I'm a little confused. Okay, we're at number 8 directors and number 9.
We just switched through.
Oh, I believe that.
Well, okay, this is one of the more stressful meetings we had, and I am very happy that our board survived this situation, and I think the district survived it. And it's mostly due to VP Short's withdrawal of 7A and 7B. And I think humanity came in on this one. And we do have to probably clarify the our president's action with our general manager. That might happen in the retreat or it might happen somewhere, but we have to have a clarification of what the friction is between you and our VP and our general manager. But I'm happy with what happened today. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice President Short.
I take full responsibility for what happened today. This was entirely on me. This was my decision. I made bad choices. And like I said, I bear full responsibility and I'm going to be considering where I'm going from here. That's all for me.
Director Flowen.
Well, I'd like to announce that I am not a Nazi.
Thank you.
That was some of the slogan. And I don't enter into conspiracies with anybody. I'm a retired deputy sheriff and I value my integrity seriously. And by the way, while it pops into my head, if anybody wants to yell at me about anything, accuse me of anything, or discuss water issues or anything else, I'm at the farmer's market every Saturday.
Sitting duck.
Yeah, you can even run me over, I think. I've been doing that, and there is no pay for that. And it's a 6.5-hour day, and I've been doing it for 10 years. So if anybody wants to come and talk to me, as I always say, there's 2 of us there regularly. Kathleen's in charge. And we have 6 chairs. 4 of them I paid for. So come on over, sit with us. We got one guy that sits with us for 2 hours or so. Former director here, career water guy. David comes over regularly to sample what we're doing and to contribute. He helps me reload my truck at the end of the day, which I very much appreciate, especially when it's hot. And I think what surfaced here, and that influence thing, by the way, I was influenced probably emotionally a little bit more by the letters that we got rather than what was said here. It's just the way it hit me. And one of the things that I feel like giving Director Short a hug, but I don't know if I want to try that with a Marine. But I think what we just saw was tonight was a spirit of fair play was expressed. We do have issues here that we should work on, and I'm looking forward to that if I can participate in it. it was the timing of the general manager being gone was a matter of her vacation. I think right about now she's in Italy with her family. And what she does is all consuming, and she deserves as much of our support as we can give her, understanding too. And my personal opinion is that she earns every penny that she gets from us. This is not something where she's reloading in any way. She has a terribly hard job. And I think we have to remember that. But getting back to Director Short, kudos for American fair play and understanding and tolerance, and the stubbornness to pursue. Also, potentially, we'll see. That's all. Thank you.
Can I actually say something?
Director
As a
Charles.
result of what others have said. First of all, I'm not a fascist. Sorry. I'm against fascism and fight against it regularly. And also, I don't think we were prepared to censor any of the president's activities in public during the meetings or out in the community. And there was a lot of misunderstanding going on. And I think Director Short didn't do anything bad. There was no collusion or mean-spirited anything going on. And I'm kind of regret we were not able to, speak what we were wanting to present today. But we'll work it out. We're a good board. There's nothing wrong with this board. You're dedicated to the district, to the water needs of this community and living in this community. I love this community and the people in it. And we'll work it out.
All right, I'm moving on now to my director comments, which I'm actually going to say what I wasn't able to articulate earlier because I couldn't find my notes. So this all scared me. I didn't know what was going on. And so, I had a lot of nights tossing and turning. And guess what that gave me an opportunity to do? Just examine everything and think about everything and think of all the possibilities of what was going to happen to me here. And, I've also reflected on the concerns that have been raised in the past regarding the distinction between governance and operations. And I want to say, if in my enthusiasm to serve the district and improve outcomes for our customers, I crossed that line at times, I sincerely regret doing so. It was never my intention to interfere with the general manager's authority or the day-to-day administration of the district. I never intended that. I admire her so much. I wouldn't try to undercut her or anything like that. It was just a combination of things, but I'm a huge fan of hers. And so it's distressing to me that somehow this all works out like this. My motivation has always been to fulfill my responsibilities as an elected director by asking questions, seeking information, identifying issues, and advocating for improvements where I believed they would benefit the district. In hindsight, I recognize that there are occasions when those efforts may have been perceived as extending beyond the appropriate governance role. I also see that my enthusiasm and passion and that enthusiasm of me raising my voice can come off not off-putting. So I take all these concerns seriously. Going forward, I'm committed to being more mindful of maintaining the proper distinctions between governance and operation while continuing to fulfill my duty to provide oversight, ask thoughtful questions, and represent the interests of our constituents. And I would like to say, just following up on what Director Jarlsberg said, that there's nothing wrong with our board. Well, I'm glad to hear her say that, because due to these events, I thought that there had been a wedge driven in to the middle of the board and that we had dysfunction that I didn't know about. And so I am hopeful that I would request that board members be willing to work with each other and with me to rebuild our individual relationships with mutual respect and the goal of board cohesion. Let's work on this out in the open ourselves, in open session to determine a path forward. I don't believe we need a facilitator. I also think that there should be communication between our board members individually about this. And I have an open door. And if anybody fears that I'm going to have some sort of a outsized reaction to giving me feedback, please allay yourself of those fears. That's not going to be the case. I welcome the feedback. And I also recognize that perhaps I haven't been as conciliatory in the feedback that the general manager has given me. So, or admitting, what her experience could be. Based on this, the fact that I want us to work on these things together, I, as president, am temporarily suspending the activities of the board retreat ad hoc committee until further notice. And I believe that we can work on things together and not in an ad hoc committee. And there's so much to say. I have other things to say from other meetings, but I just want to say that I was blown away with admiration for Vice President Short tonight. And he was already estimable in my opinion, and he certainly has lived up to the honor that I always suspected him, always thought he had. So I just wanted to say thank you very much for that. Yeah. So next up is item 10, agenda items requested by the board. Under the JBWD agenda process, Article 7, a director may call or correspond with the GM and request any item to be placed on the agenda no later than 5 p.m. on the 9th day prior to the next meeting date. Pardon me, dry mouth. It's also important for the public to know that they may request agenda items by calling the district or emailing info@jbwd.com. We also track agenda item requests from the board. And so there's a list that's included in the board packet. No action today on requested items. Directors, are there any requested agenda items? Oh, no? All right. Well, then, thank you, board members, visitors, and staff. With no further business before the board, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
We are adjourned at 7:14.
Have a good night.
Thank you.